Hello, and welcome to another episode of Beach Buzz Influencers. And today we have with us Carrie Hyam, Kat Krasilnikov, and Adrian Lindeen. And Beach Buzz Influencers is a platform where we teach entrepreneurs how to build your business on social media using automation tools, AI tools, and proper marketing. Because let's be honest, a lot of us know how to get sales and recruits, but we never properly been trained how to market. So once we learned how to market, our business took off and we've created amazing lifestyles, not just for ourselves. We have an amazing team of over 30 people who are working with us. And we also teach other entrepreneurs how to create that amazing lifestyle for themselves. So you don't have to work on your business 24/7, where your business can actually work for you. And today we're going to talk about something that a lot of entrepreneurs facing when they just getting started, especially. It's a part of how you've been previously wired or how you've been previously operated, where you kind of sabotage yourself by waiting for other people to give you permission or advice or validation that's it's time to go. It's time to take action. So let's talk about that because we all been there and we see this pattern throughout entrepreneurs, especially when we just come into the world of whether it's network marketing or just general entrepreneurship when we try to build our own business. And if we've been most of our life in employee mentality, then it's kind of hard to switch to entrepreneur mentality and start making those big, sometimes scary decisions on your own. And a lot of times we spend so much time overthinking that we never take action, right? And that slows us down. And actually, a lot of people quit because they never, before they even take the first step. Isn't that sad? People quit before they take the
Yeah.
first step. No, nobody even knew you existed because you're still thinking how to
Mhm.
start.
Yeah.
So,
Well, when you think about people I like the whole we can start about like pre-programming because you've been told what to do pretty much your entire life, especially if you're an employee, right? You were told get good grades in school so that you can go to a good college where you're then going to still get good grades so that you can get a good job. And that person who owns a business will then tell you what to do. And how many, I mean, myself included, how many times when we get started, we're like, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. We see that a lot with our students, right? As they're coming through Beach Boss, where they're like, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. But there does come a point in time, like when you're learning a strategy, yes, it's like, okay, I need the training. I need someone to kind of take me by the hand and show me the ropes and show me what to do. But there comes a point in time in every entrepreneur's journey where they have to switch from being told what to do to like digging inside and realizing that they've known what to do all along and trusting their instincts,
Yeah.
making decisions because hate to break it to you, indecision is actually a decision. But make the decision, take action, and then evaluate if whether or not it worked.
Yeah. And I mean, to kind of go with that is the fact that you are now an entrepreneur. Maybe you're on this listening to us, you follow us, whatever that looks like. That in itself is showing that you have some type of outside of the box thinking, right? And so, like what Carrie's saying is we've been in a box, right? That employee mind box, which, like she said, has been ingrained in our brain and we've been conditioned since school. School prepared us for that, right? Like you need permission to talk. You have to raise your hand. Like you it's almost like we've been conditioned to not be able to be a free thinker, right? But the fact that like you're like I want to have a business and I want to do this thing and I want to launch this whatever, right? That right away, now your thinking is outside the box. And something that I tell our students and people inside our community is entrepreneurs are rule breakers, right? They do things unorthodox. They didn't want to be put in that box. They wanted to get out, right? And they have these creative, they have creativity, right? And it's like, what do I do with this stuff? But it's like, I want to branch out and I want to do this. So congratulations, you already are breaking out of that. But that's what entrepreneurs do. Like, take risks, right? Like be the rule breaker, but we slide back in when it's something new we're not familiar with, like whether you're a network marketer or whether whatever, we tend to slide backwards into that, like, I got to ask my boss again. I need permission, right? And guess what? You don't have a boss to ask because you are now your own boss, right? And I think a lot of people also are afraid to mess up or to do something wrong, or like, is it right? Is it wrong? There isn't one. You
Yep.
do, and you figure out by, like what Carrie said, by evaluating, right? And so if you're waiting around for permission, then you're going to be waiting around a long time.
Yes.
We want you to not, don't ask for permission, do like, okay, so you messed it up, back up a couple steps, reevaluate and redo, right? Like, this is how we want you to be, that free thinker, that like risk taker, right? Like, that's what entrepreneurs do. And that's the like specialty of being an entrepreneur. And newsflash, entrepreneurs run this world, okay? Like, the ideas that people then, launch, and then people then go to work for those ideas, right? But it is really hard if you've been in the workforce, you've been the employee, to really break out of that conditioned mindset that I can't do this until like I get the okay. Well, guess what? We're giving you the okay. We're giving you permission to not need permission. And to just do. You can relate this into sports. I'll just take it back to like Michael Jordan, right? And the reason why he was so good at what he did and his craft is because he took so many shots, right? Like, he took so many shots, and therefore your increase of making it is going to go up, right? And a lot of what the beaches and us have done is we messed up a lot faster than people, and they learned from it, right? Like, it's not that we did all the right things. We just said we have one speed and it's go. And we're going to find out. We're going to find out, and then we're going to do it faster and then be able to share, hey guys, this worked and this didn't work, right? Like, you
Yeah.
might want to try that.
There was a good example a couple of weeks ago. We threw at our marketing team a brand new launch of a brand new platform. And they gave us a list of 100 reasons why it's not a good idea to do that right now. And we looked at the list, we agreed, and we did it anyways.
We're like, we know,
Oh, we
we
know,
know.
but we're doing it anyways. Yeah. And we learned so many lessons from that instead of like waiting and wondering what if. And a lot of times when you wait and wonder, then also you tend to blame other people to give you the wrong advice when you should have just taken action on yourself and you figured out if it was a good advice or bad advice, right? Bottom line, we get asked quite often because we're mentors for so many people in our community, and they come and ask us, what should I do? Should I do it this way or that way? Should I do it then or now? And the only answer we always give them is do it and test it. And if you fail, you'll know. If you succeed, you'll know. But doing it is the only way to know if it's the good idea or bad. Of course, we're going to tell them, you know, keep in mind that that's what might happen or this might happen, but like you have to do it. And the biggest enemies of this pattern usually overthinking, procrastination, and perfectionism. And all of these three things are just forms of fear, fear of failure, right? We're afraid to fail and we start either procrastinate or overthink or trying it to be perfect before we launch anything. So just know that all those things are your defense mechanisms and they gonna happen because that's how we've been wired subconsciously. But just being aware and even noticing if that's been your pattern for a while, aware that that's what you need to work on and overcome, this could be like a huge step in the right direction. And we're gonna tell you that nothing ever will be perfect. Like
No,
never.
there's no such thing.
Perfect is poor, what Adrian says. If you
Yes.
want to be poor, wait until it's perfect, right? Procrastination, again, it's like you delaying taking action because you're overwhelmed of you, or you don't know how it's going to look like or what it's going to look like. And overthinking, it's trying to come up with different action plans and never executing any one of them. It's like playing in your head, what if I do this and fail, versus what if I do this and not fail, right? So the only way to know it's actually to do it. So we actually, before we push the record button for this podcast, we decided that it's going to be pretty short. We're just going to show up and say, go F and do it. The end. And
That's a
there's
real
nothing more to
story.
say.
That really happened.
Everything else is just, trying to convince you that that's, what you need to be doing. No.
Well, and we have a lot of students that they're like, "Well, but you're my mentor, like, I wanna run everything through you," right? The problem with that is even as a mentor and even as someone who's been where you're at, until you've taken action, we actually have nothing that we can evaluate, right? Because, I mean, you can give us a script, you can give us a funnel, you can but until you actually start putting people through whatever it is that you've created, we have no way of knowing, is it gonna work or is it not gonna work? We have advice that we can give based on our own experience, but our own experience is even very limited, right? Because you've got what what you don't know, but then there's an entire infinite space of stuff you don't know that you don't know,
So
right?
Yeah.
And
And we don't
yeah.
make decisions on like, I feel like that's a good post, or like I really like that. Because we could like it, but guess what? It doesn't resonate with our audience. So what Carrie's saying is like you have to have a baseline to gather data. And that's what we make all of our decisions around. So if one of our students is like, "Oh, I want you to do this before," it's like, "Okay, I'll give you a skim through. Like it looks good, but we don't know until it's been tested and we've gotten we've gotten a baseline and we can look at data. And then once we look at data, then we can say, here in your framework, or here in this structure, or is the breakdown here in your process, and then get feedback on that. Because a lot of people operate their business on emotion and not on data. If you don't know how important that is, like you could be making some big, you know, I don't errors, or you could be kind of going down a wrong path because you're operating in emotion, right? How you felt about it, or the fact that like no one bought or no one joined after you did this, or whatever that looked like, right? Like you're upset with yourself, you're like, I suck, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden you see like two people join your team, or you get three new customers, or you have five people buy your offer, right? Or go into your coaching. And then you're like, but I wanted it to be this many. And then it's like, let's look at the data, right? Well, the data showed you had this many people show up and this many people bought. So, like, that is success. But how do we build upon that now moving forward? So,
there's two big lessons we learned throughout our journey. What worked for other people, never gonna work the same for you. It could be better, it could be the same, it could be worse, but it never, ever, ever works the same way for different people. Well, first of all, we're different businesses, different people, different. I mean, everything is different. Even if we go and clone Beach Bus influencers and do everything exact same way we did back in the day, it's never going to be the same. The time has passed and whatever, right? So, this was the biggest lesson. No matter how good someone else's funnel is or process is, it's always going to be different for everyone else. And the only way to find out if that's going to work for you is to do it. And second lesson that we learned, it was really good, but it left my mind. And I'm sure I will remember it.
is you don't need permission. Now, shut up. The end. No.
Yeah, it was a really good one, but oh well.
Stay tuned for next week's episode when
Yes.
Kat remembers her thought.
She's probably going to remember it as soon as we're done here.
I know.
Yeah. So, bottom line, okay, if you're listening to this and you're in our world and you're an entrepreneur, just go take some action. Go do the do. Whether you think you're on the right track or not, Just take the action. You don't need permission, break rules, take risks, and evaluate from there. Look at your data because that actually is going to be the biggest, I would say, thing you could do for your business in, the growth part is if you can get really good at that, right? Testing something, looking at the data, making your tweak, redoing it again. Anyways, if you love this episode and you want to follow us for more, especially if you want to catch Kat's thought on the next podcast, smash that subscribe button, give us some likes and hearts or whatever that is,
I just know it
and
was
we
really
will.
good. It was
I
good.
bet it was. But we will catch you on the next episode. Thanks for hanging out with us. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.